Good afternoon and welcome to our webinar on the Revolution Drench Gun. I'm your host, Brodie Roberts, the Marketing Manager from Think Livestock. And today we're going to go through this new product, the Revolution Drench Gun. Okay. So before we move into the content of our webinar today, there's just a couple of logistic items that I would like to cover. The first of which is how to ask questions. So if at any point during the webinar today you have a question on any of the things that I'm talking about, the way you can ask it is there'll be a small icon in the top right of your screen. It looks like 3 lines. If you click on that, it'll bring down a couple of options, one of which is another icon that has Q and A written on it. If you click on that, it will open up a sidebar on your screen that will allow you to type in your question. And I won't answer questions all the way throughout, but I will endeavour to take a few towards the end if you have anything that you want me to expand upon, or if you have any specific questions that you would like answered. The other logistical thing that we need to talk about is that there'll be a recording available of this webinar, a link to which you'll have emailed to you shortly after we finish. So even if you've missed the live presentation of the webinar, there will be a recording sent out to you in the next hour or two after we finish. Okay, so to start, I just want to give you a little bit of a background on Think Livestock, about who we are and what we do. Think Livestock started in 2002 under the name Think Pig. And back then we were doing a much broader range of products. But in 2007, we changed our focus from a broad range of pig-specific products to medication delivery systems for all different species of livestock. So this includes vaccinators, drench guns, pour-on guns, and water dosing equipment as well. We offer specialized animal health systems for all livestock industries. So if there's a specific problem or a specific medication that needs a little bit of a specialized piece of equipment to be delivered, we're usually the people to go on piece of equipment to farmers, the drug companies such as MSD, Zoetis, etc., and other people in the industry about in the development of new products for livestock medication delivery. My background, I've got on-farm experience in both the pig and poultry industries, a practical experience on the production side in those two industries. Since as far back as 2004, so a little bit over a decade of experience in that niche area. I know a fair bit about options that are available out there in the industry these days. I've been working with Think Livestock as a sales representative since 2009. So that's involved both speaking with end users such as yourselves, and also speaking with the rural stores, the animal health companies, and all different industry stakeholders who have something to gain or something to lose from application systems. And I've been working since I've been working as Think Livestock's marketing manager since 2013. And finally, on me, I have extensive experience with different types and brands of medication delivery equipment. So a long background with products such as Drench Guns and vaccinators, and more recently, a fair bit of experience with water medication equipment as well. Moving on, I'll just do a short overview of the topics we're going to cover today. First up, a history lesson, I suppose you could call it. Just a bit of guns, so some of the good ones and some of the bad ones, and the strengths and weaknesses of both of those types of products. We'll touch briefly on gas-operated drench guns that have been available in the industry for the last few years. And then finally, we'll cover in a bit of detail the new Revolution drench gun and some of the features that might make it a really good choice on your farm. So, our history lesson. This here that you can see pictured in front of you is a very early drenching tool. These items that are shown here are held as exhibits at a veterinary medicine museum. And how they work is that you fill up that funnel piece at the wide end with a product that you want to deliver to the animal. You stick the narrower end of that funnel into the sheep's mouth and tilt its head back, forcing it to swallow the product. And the reason I'm showing you this is it's just a really good example of how the technology has come a very long way over the last 100 years on how we deliver these kinds of oral medications to livestock. Now we'll talk about manual drench guns. So we have pictured here two different drench guns. On the left, we have a typical disposable gun, the cheap made-to-a-price type guns that are commonly available in rural stores and sometimes are even handed out with the drench itself. And on the right, we have a well, not so typical gun, but a higher end gun. In this case, the HSW Drench-matic, which Think Livestock does supply as part of its range of drench guns. The other guns of this quality level might include the NJ Phillips metal drench guns or the Masterline drench gun as well. So just sort of cheaper or disposable manual drench guns. A few of the, I guess, the negatives of these guns are, firstly, they have a very short lifespan when compared to other products that are used for drenching. They're made to a price, and they're made to perform sort of a set number of shots, so to speak. After they've been used for a little while, they typically start to degrade fairly rapidly, and yes, after that they're not really all that much use. Nextly, not always the case, but the disposable guns are often supplied as a sealed unit with very little access to the parts. Usually the upper limit on how you can maintain a disposable gun is the O-ring and possibly a felt washer in a lot of cases. But typically speaking, if you get a blocked valve and you can't unstick it by using a few tricks that are generally known around the industry, it's going to be the end of the gun. A lot of disposable guns are often, once again, they are designed to a price, and the ergonomics are not usually a very big concern in the design of these guns. They're never going to compare with some of the better guns, whether they're manual guns or automatic guns, in terms of ergonomics. And the other problem that we typically get told by the farmers we speak to is that after a very short period of time, these cheaper guns often get a bit sticky in the handle, or handles over time stop returning, and this can make it very difficult to pull back the handle between doses. Moving on to the higher quality or the NJ Phillips type guns, there's some positives on these guns, especially when compared to the disposable. For them, you know, more or less any part that can go wrong with these types of guns can be replaced if need be. So they will last you a lot longer than the disposable gear. They usually also feature a pretty good level of valve access. In the HSW Drench Gun pictured here, both the front and back valve are legally removed or accessed for cleaning or replacement if need be, which is a big positive with a drench gun, as they tend to block up over time when particularly when you're using thicker drenches such as the triple combinations. They also usually feature an adjustable spring tension, which can help to alleviate some of that problem with the handles slowly returning. If I was to give the example of a Masterline drench gun, it's very simple to ramp up the spring tension so that the handle of the gun is coming back a lot harder, which can dramatically reduce the problems that people see with handles slowing down and having to pull back the handle with your second hand. But the big problem, even with these drench guns, is if you're giving very large numbers of treatments, they're still quite strenuous over time. And that brings us along to the next product we're going to talk about, which is gas-operated guns. We've got a typical gas-operated gun pictured here, in this case, the Genesis Power Doser. And we'll just go through quite quickly a couple of the pros and cons of that gun now. So the gas-powered drenches, some of the big advantages of these guns are, firstly, that they completely eliminate hand strain. They have no slowly returning handles, although there can be a bit of a trade-off there. They're usually sturdy and compatible with a pretty broad range of agricultural chemicals. And from what we hear from farmers we speak to, there's a pretty good service backup. But on the negative side, they generally require, well, they always require either an LPG cylinder or a compressor to operate the gun. Without these things, there's nothing to power the gun. There's no way to get the doses out into or onto the sheep or cow that you're drenching. And that can be an extra bit of gear you don't want to lug around. We're told the pressure must build up between doses, so there's a slight delay between doses caused by the gun needing to recharge itself. A contractor that we deal with has mentioned that an additional vapor can be created with pour-on products, which can be irritating to your skin and your eyes. It's not nice to have to be inhaling the pour-on that you're trying to put on the gun onto the sheep any more often than necessary. That's not so much a problem with oral drench though. But a big problem with these gas-operated guns is that they are usually manually calibrated. So if you were to try dosing to the exact weight of animals that are being weighed, you would be regularly adjusting your gun, which is an extra time that's really not needed on the farm. Moving on again to our featured product here, the Revolution Drench Gun. That's a picture of the Revolution gun here. And we're just going to go through one by one some of the core features of the Revolution Drench Gun and how they can be helpful to you on the farm, and how they can reduce the problems caused by some of those other types of guns. So firstly, they're 100% battery powered. I've pictured here the rechargeable batteries that are supplied with the Revolution gun and how they fit into the device. So what are the benefits of having a gun that's 100% battery powered? Well, firstly, there's no need to be lugging around an LPG cylinder, and there's no need for compressor lines. So that's just one less item that you need to be carting around with you, or need to have involved to do the drenching. But you can still have the features of having a powered gun. There's no gas fumes. We have been told by some users of the gas-powered guns that you're just about gassing yourself as you throughout the day if you're doing large numbers of shots, as there's a certain amount of gas that leaks out during the operation. The rechargeable batteries used with the Revolution Drench Gun can give you an impressive 2,050 ml doses per battery charge, which is quite a large number of doses that it can give before you need to recharge the device. As I said before, they're lithium-ion rechargeable batteries, which have a long lifespan when compared with other types of batteries. So it'll be quite a long time before the actual batteries themselves wear out. And finally, the gun is supplied with both car and wall chargers. So there's a bit of extra convenience to being able to charge up the batteries a little bit just out of the cigarette lighter plug in your car. If you find you need a little bit more juice to get through the job you've got for the day, you can do that. And it's a fairly fast charge as well, which isn't written up on here, but it's something we've observed recently at some of our trade shows and field days that we've been to with the gun. The next feature is the easy trigger operation that's featured on the Tapari gun, which you can see here. We've got a picture of our managing director, Dave Roberts, operating the gun. It's pretty much just pressing a button on the handle to operate the device. So this means that hand strain is completely eliminated. All you have to do is push a trigger, and any dose from 5 ml up to 99 ml will be delivered with no more effort from you. This can ensure even delivery when used with pour-on products. And what I mean by that is, if you think of a manual gun that you've used in the past, you have to, the delivery of the product is completely completely achieved by the squeeze of your hand. So if it's a really tough gun to use, there's going to be a big push at the start and then a little bit of a slowdown before the dose is completely given. When all you have to do is press a button, and then the gun will evenly deliver the dose. It's a big improvement over the manual equipment. As I said before, doses of up to 99 ml can be given with a single trigger squeeze. If a larger dose than that's required on the current version of the Revolution Drench Gun, it's as easy as giving a second press of the trigger. Moving on again, the Revolution Drench Gun features an adjustable speed for both the delivery and return. And what I mean by an adjustable speed is that you can slow down the stroke going forward, so the stroke of how the drench or pour on is delivered, and you can also slow down the speed of the plunger returning. And why this might be useful to you is, firstly, the faster settings can be quite ideal for oral drench. It's hard to show in this context, but the default delivery speed on the Revolution Drench Gun is quite quick, which can be useful when you're giving oral drench. You don't want to have to keep the drench nozzle in the animal's mouth any longer than you need to. But because you can also slow it down, it's a bit more flexible for pour-on products. So if you've got some sheep that are larger, some sheep that are smaller, you can vary that speed of delivery to make sure that you're covering them from pole to hole, really, with the pour-on, if that's what you need to do. One of our staff can give you a demonstration of this if you need to see this adjustable speed in action. And the ability to speed up or slow down the return speed is really useful if you rotate drenches and use some drenches that are a bit thinner and some drenches that are a bit thicker. Say something like a triple combination, for instance, which can be quite viscous. Slowing down the return speed can help to prevent those air bubbles that might occur with some other with some of the manual equipment or some of the other equipment that you may have used in the past. Yeah, and the ability to speed it up so that to the fastest speed for thinner drenches will mean that there's less delay between less delay between doses. Really, it's quite flexible that way. So the next point we're going to talk about is the dosage adjustment. So as you can see in the picture here, there's a couple of buttons under Dave's finger to raise or lower the doses. So you can quite easily adjust the dose on the Revolution Drench Gun on the keypad of the gun itself. But if it's of interest to you, there is another option. And it's quite a new technology. The gun can automatically change its dose based on the weight of each animal. Now, how it does that, I'll cover in a minute, because I just want to briefly touch on something that I think is very important with a product as complicated and as high value as the Revolution Drench Gun. And that particular feature is the full backup service from Think Livestock. So Think Livestock have dedicated service staff who only work on medication delivery equipment. They don't do anything. They don't do anything else. They just fix the equipment that comes in. If it needs if it needs just a general service, or if it needs a more detailed refurbishment, that can all be done here at Think Livestock's facility in Victoria. We also have very reasonable service costs. The cost breakdown, I guess, of services completed by Think Livestock is really just whatever the cost of the parts are, plus a flat labour charge that doesn't change dependent on the detail of the service. You have unlimited and free phone support on any product that's supplied by Think Livestock. So if there's ever an issue that can be resolved over the phone, you can just give us a call and we'll talk you through what needs to be done to get something working again. And finally, Think Livestock, all products that Think Livestock supply are covered by a general guarantee, and that guarantee is broken into two parts. Firstly, any product that we supply will work first time, or will replace it, no questions asked. And the second part of the guarantee is that any service completed by us will result in 100% satisfaction, or we'll do it again for free. So back to the Revolution Drench Gun specifically, and the two different ways that you can adjust the dose. There's actually two models of the Revolution Drench Gun. There's the basic version, or G10, and the intelligent version, or G20. The G10 model is basically just a manual power doser. You adjust the dose on the keypad, but all of the features I've spoken about up until this point are still available on that model. And another advantage of the G10 gun is that it can be upgraded to the G20 at any time. The G20 model of Revolution Drench Gun connects with any Tapari scale, which allows it to automatically adjust the dose based on the weight that that scale reads out. So the scale weighs the animal, calculates the dose, and transmits it to the gun. And there's also, via that scale, there's also EID compatibility. So you can hook in anybody's EID reader. It could be one of Tapari's, or it could be a Green Stick, or any of those other brands of EID readers, and keep very accurate treatment records of each of your livestock based on those EID tags. So the intelligent drench gun packaged with the Tapari scale is getting into sort of a very advanced level of animal management. It's not for everybody, but if it is something that you are interested in, you can once again speak to one of our experts here at Think Livestock and get and have a more detailed conversation on how that can work. And that is bringing us right to the end of our webinar today. I apologize, we're a few minutes short, but if you do have any questions, once again, like to remind you that up in the top right corner of your screen, there should be a little icon with, it's like 3 lines, I believe. If you click on that, there'll be another icon that has a Q&A button on it. If you click on that, it'll open up a sidebar where you can type in your questions and I can answer them for you. But I would just like to say at this point, thank you for attending our webinar. I'll answer any questions that you type into that sidebar at the end. And what will happen from here is we'll send you out an email with a recording of the webinar, a link to a recording of the webinar that you can watch at your leisure. You can go through anything, and if you've missed part of the webinar, you can re-watch any part that you'd like to watch again. But what will also be included in that email is a short form that just gives you the option to request a phone call from someone here at Think Livestock. If you fill in your phone number and a preferred contact time in that form, one of our experts here will give you a call at your preferred time and discuss the product in more detail, answer any further questions that you have about the Revolution gun, and see if there's anything we can do to help make it a success on your farm. Once again, thank you for coming. My name's Brodie Roberts, the Marketing Manager here at Think Livestock, and we look forward to speaking with you again in the future.